Did you know that Africa had universities centuries before Europe? Much of African history is deliberately left out of standard education. This isn't just about filling in gaps, it's about rewriting a narrative that has systematically minimized Africa's contributions to global civilization. We are going beyond the familiar stories to uncover a richer, more complex history. Let's start at the beginning. Ancient Egypt, unified around 3100 BC, is often presented as separate from the rest of Africa. But what about its southern neighbor, Nubia? Nubia, in present-day Sudan, was home to powerful kingdoms like Kama, the Kingdom of Kush, and Meroe. In fact, the 25th dynasty of Egypt was Nubian, with rulers like Pi and Tahaka controlling Egypt for nearly a century. Their story is one of interconnected civilizations influencing each other. Further south, the Kingdom of Aksum, in modern-day Ethiopia and Eritrea, flourished from the 1st century CE. Under King Ezana, Aksum adopted Christianity in the 4th century, centuries before many European countries. Aksum wasn't just religiously significant, they minted their own coins, showing a sophisticated monetized economy. Moving south again, we find Great Zimbabwe, a magnificent city that thrived from the 11th to the 15th centuries. Built by the Shona-speaking people, Great Zimbabwe was a major center of trade and politics, connecting the African interior to the Indian Ocean. Its impressive stone architecture stands as a testament to the ingenuity and skill of its builders. In West Africa, the Mali Empire rose to prominence in the 13th century. Founded by Sundiata Keita after the Battle of Kyrenia in 1235, Mali became one of the wealthiest and most influential empires in the region. Mansa Musa, who ruled in the 14th century, is perhaps its most famous emperor. His pilgrimage to Mecca in 1324 put Mali on the map, showcasing its immense wealth and power. The capital, Timbuktu, became a renowned center of learning, attracting scholars from across the Islamic world. Continuing west, the Songhai Empire emerged in the 15th century, becoming one of the largest empires in African history. Rulers like Sunni Ali and Askir Muhammad I controlled vital trade routes across the Sahara, connecting North Africa with the gold-rich regions to the south. The Kingdom of Benin, in present-day Nigeria, flourished from the 13th century onwards. Famous for its bronze and brass artworks, Benin was also a sophisticated urban center with a complex political system. The Benin bronzes, looted by British forces in 1897, are a stark reminder of the colonial destruction of African heritage. These kingdoms demonstrate that Africa was not a blank slate before European contact. It was a continent of vibrant, complex societies with their own rich histories. One of the most significant intellectual centers in Africa was Timbuktu. From the 14th to the 16th centuries, Timbuktu was a hub of Islamic scholarship. The University of Sankore was part of a network of learning where scholars studied astronomy, medicine, law, mathematics, and theology. Thousands of manuscripts, preserved in private collections, testify to the intellectual vitality of the city. Ethiopia also developed a rich manuscript tradition in Guizi, covering religious, legal, and historical subjects. The Ethiopian Orthodox Tewahedo Church played a crucial role in preserving these texts. The Kebre Negast, a foundational text in Ethiopian royal ideology, illustrates the sophistication of Ethiopian intellectual thought. Islamic scholarly networks connected North, West, and East Africa to the wider Islamic world. African scholars were active participants in this exchange, serving as teachers, jurists, poets, and political advisors. Africa resisted colonial rule in many ways. The Algerian War of Independence, from 1954 to 1962, was a brutal struggle against French colonialism. The Mau Mau uprising in Kenya, from 1952 to 1960, was a major anti-colonial revolt against British rule. In South Africa, the fight against apartheid, which lasted until 1994, was a long and arduous battle for equality. Nelson Mandela's release from prison in 1990 marked a turning point in this struggle. Ethiopia's resistance to colonial conquest stands out. Apart from a brief Italian occupation from 1936 to 1941, Ethiopia remained largely independent during the scramble for Africa. So why is so much of this history missing from our textbooks? Colonial schooling often centered Europe as the source of civilization, minimizing African achievements. Africa was often portrayed as lacking history, literacy, or governance. But the truth is far more complex. Africa had multiple independent writing systems. Ancient Egyptian hieroglyphs, the Meroitic script in Kush, Guizi in Ethiopia, Nsibidi symbols in Nigeria, and Tifinagh among Berber communities, all demonstrate that writing was not introduced by outsiders. African universities were not symbolic claims, they were real institutions. Sanko, Jingare Biya, and Sidi Yahya in Timbuktu were part of a thriving scholarly culture. The Swahili coast, from the 9th century onwards, was a major cosmopolitan civilization. Cities like Kilwa, Mombasa, and Zanzibar connected Africa to Arabia, Persia, India, and China. Swahili itself, a Bantu language with Arabic influences, is a testament to this cultural exchange. African metallurgy was highly advanced. The Nok culture in Nigeria is known for its terracotta sculptures and early ironworking traditions. Ironworking developed independently in several regions of Africa. Female political authority was also significant. Queen Amina of Zozo, Nzinga Man of Nongo and Matamba, and Yasantua of the Ashanti Empire all wielded considerable power. Finally, Africans shaped the Atlantic world in ways that are often ignored. Enslaved Africans brought rice-growing knowledge, metallurgy, irrigation skills, musical forms, religious traditions, and linguistic patterns to the Americas. Africa was not peripheral to global civilization, it was central. It was a source of early state systems, a center of trade, home to written intellectual traditions, and a major producer of gold, salt, ivory, textiles, and manuscripts. By understanding this history, we can begin to correct the distortions of the past and appreciate the true scope of Africa's contributions to the world. It's time to unlearn what we thought we knew and embrace a more complete, more accurate, and more just understanding of African history.